This exact 3-hook script will help me show up anywhere, have these prepped, and get a speaker who has not prepped at all to record a good video. I'm Isaac Jarnigan. I run a content marketing agency in central Iowa. The baseline of my work is working with business owners who don't know the online space very well or don't have time for it, and it frustrates them, and so they have me along to help them navigate that journey. I help them bring down their social media workflow to whoever they want to represent to around 5 hours a month, an hour of prep, an hour or two of production, and then obviously the amount of time it takes to review what I produce. So that means I make the ideas, I record the ideas, I edit the ideas, I put them in a content calendar with captions. All they have to do is review it, and then we post them a month ahead. So they're always ahead of the curve, and they always have stuff going out no matter what, and they never have to think about it. One way I really cut down that time is to make sure that they don't have to prep production days. Production days revolve around some video, some photo, and a little bit of graphic work too, if need be. But obviously what sets me apart is that I show up to businesses with my camera and are able to use that. Social media has been very video heavy. About every single platform has a short form feature now. YouTube videos have been prevalent for a long time. Videos exist, and in order for the videos to be well, they need to be somewhat scripted. One of the frustration points of business owners is time, and scripting takes time. And preparing and memorizing a script takes time. And so, as much as I would love to show up have a word-for-word script that a business owner can read and for it to sound natural and conversational like social media landscape is, just doesn't work. So that's why here on the screen is our 3-hook script. It's very simple, and the name doesn't even make sense, but it kind of does. But revolves around a title of kind of what you're making, different hooks. Obviously, the first few seconds of your video, talk about what you're going to talk about, and people scroll away if it isn't relevant to them. And so having hook ideas for that main point, and then you move into main content point ideas, and then conclusions. Let's kind of break this down further. When I work with people, I'm not an expert on what they're an expert at. And so that's why I like to leave it a little bit up to them of like on the topic of the title, like what do they actually want to talk about? And so I like to give ideas to prompt them. So I kind of show them the boundaries of, okay, hook, main points, conclusion. I will say them to you. You can kind of go off of it, off a conversational tone. I notice when business owners or even myself are too scripted and you feel like you want them to read whatever you say, they're going to say it in a robotic tone, doesn't sound natural. I wouldn't like if someone talks to me like that on camera. I want them talking to me like this, where they're just kind of talking in a conversational way. So I like to mimic word-for-word reading as much as possible, although if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. That's okay. But the hooks are related to the topic, and I like to make 3 different ones. So that means they can kind of read through them. That one doesn't necessarily make sense. Let's move on to the next one. They kind of have that option, where if I were to have one hook scripted, and they read it, and they say, oh, shoot, I don't like it. What should we say now? I'm a little stuck, because I only came with one prepped. Here's 3 of them. Heck yeah. So that's why that's there. And then main content points, rather. These are 3 to 5 points that they'll briefly touch on. And so let's say, we're talking about mowing the lawn. I don't know. Main content point number 1 would be, got to turn on the mower. Then you got to mow the lawn. Then you got to put the mower away. Those are your 3 points. And again, these points are very brief, a few words, or maybe a sentence about what they'll kind of go on about a little bit. So maybe they see the note, turn the mower on. Well, that makes them kind of think back to what they already talk about day to day in their business anyways, and it gets them a little comfortable, and they can kind of conversate about that. Well, the mower's over here, and you got to pull that out and get the valve going, and then you got to, pump it a little bit, and then you give it a little pump back, and then the engine will go on, and they'll kind of ramble on about that. And me as a recorder, I'm like, heck yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then point two, they kind of go into that same flow where they just kind of naturally already know what to say. You just kind of got to prompt them on it. And like I said, that allows for a very conversational sounding video, which I believe is what is better on social media. Overproduced is very easily seen. And so just having it feel like a human is always my favorite approach. And then point number three, putting them over away, same sort of flow. They can kind of go on about it. And then conclusions just kind of there, wrapping it all up with anything you might need. If you're into call to actions, which I don't know if I'm in and out of that circle yet, Mr. Alex Hormozi is not a call to action guy, and I kind of agree with him on that. But if they want to call to action, it's there, but just something to round it up. If you kind of copy this same flow and throw it into an AI tool, whatever your favorite one is, it'll kind of memorize this 3-hook script is what I call it, and it gives you a good baseline. So very easily I can do, hey, make a 3-hook script about this camera. I want to talk about it. And it'll give me some ideas on what to talk about, and then you can tweak that to make it more tailored to you. And then you can very easily make these 3-hook scripts, show up to places with people that are unprepped, and get them a good video in about 5-10 minutes of recording. Might take them 3 tries, but on that 3rd try, they'll be pretty buttery smooth through it if they're an expert at what they're talking about, which I have no doubt that most business owners that have worked at their business for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they know what they're talking about. And so you just kind of got to prompt them and get them going and make them feel like they're just talking to the customer, which ultimately is what they is. So this is the 3-hook script. Highly recommend you try it out. Like I said, it's 4 no prep shoots, which is what business owner wants. No prep. Show up, get it done. Move on. Next thing. Social media is done for the month. Video's done for the month. Photos done for the month. This makes it happen.